Hello again. Welcome to another episode of Everyday Encouragement. I want to go with you today to the book of Hebrews in chapter 10 and verses 32 to 36. Hebrews chapter 10, 32 to 36. He writes, "But recall the former days, when after you were enlightened, you endured a hard struggle with sufferings, sometimes being publicly exposed to reproach and affliction, and sometimes being partners with those so treated. For you had compassion on those in prison, and you joyfully accepted the plundering of your property, since you knew that you yourselves had a better possession and an abiding one. Therefore do not throw away your confidence, which has a great reward, for you have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised." I just want us to notice here the radical nature of the call on the Christian life. Did you catch it in there? He speaks about these Hebrew Christians and he says, you joyfully accepted the plundering of your property. Joyfully accepted the plundering of your property. Probably what was going on was that there was some level of persecution being brought to these Christians, and possibly their things were being stolen, they were being taken away, and they were losing their possessions, and they joyfully accepted this. Now today, I don't think any one of us are having our possessions taken away because we're Christians. Maybe you are, but we might be losing possessions, losing things that are important to us because of the struggling economy and all the challenges that are going on in the world right now. So we might be losing stuff as well. Are we joyfully accepting those things? That's a tough call. Now, how can we do that? How do these Christians joyfully accept when their things were being plundered, when they were losing their things? It says, you joyfully did this because you have a better possession and an abiding one. The thing that we have as believers is both better and longer lasting than our worldly possessions. And what is that thing? Well, the best summary I know of in the Bible is Psalm 16:11, where the psalmist says, "You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." Did you catch that in there? There's fullness of joy with God. It's a better possession. And pleasures forevermore. They're abiding. They last forever, unlike the things of this world that come and go and don't really satisfy, and they disappoint us in the long run anyway. And so we can accept the loss of earthly things with joy when we remember we have a better and an abiding possession in knowing God, and in the great promise that one day we will have him in his fullness and we will enjoy him forever. And so the writer here applies this to us. He says, don't throw away your confidence. Don't walk away from this better and abiding possession because the times are hard. Instead, press into Christ and in his promises. And it says you have need of endurance. We need to endure by faith in God. He says, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised. God has promised us wonderful things in the gospel. He's promised us forgiveness of sins, reconciliation with God, reconciliation with one another in the body of Christ. And most of all, he's promised that because we have all those things, we have God himself. And he will be our possession, our inheritance now in the small measures we're able to enjoy it, and in fullness in all eternity when these temporary things have passed away. So this is what we're called to endure in. And when we're doing that, when that's our focus, when that is our hope, we can endure the loss of things in this world with joy. Doesn't mean it's easy, but we can do it with joy. We can be sorrowful yet always rejoicing. I hope this is encouraging to you. We will see you next time.